Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Most people will encounter G-force, if at all, on a roller coaster. Short for gravitational force, U.S. fighter pilots experience G-force frequently, anytime they accelerate or travel at high speeds. High G-force comes with dangerous effects. Unprepared pilots will gray out or black out in the cockpit. That's why the U.S. military has special techniques and equipment to prevent its pilots from fainting in the air. In this feature, you'll see why newbie pilots are forced to push themselves to the limit and potentially black out in a giant machine that recreates the continuous G experience they would have while flying. In 2018 in Poland, the country's first female fighter pilot felt what it's like to be put through high G-force centrifuge training. Lieutenant Katarzyna Tomiak-Siemianowicz sits in a gondola, whipped around in a circle at increasing speeds. A camera trained on the lieutenant's face shows her growing increasingly agitated, but attempting to breathe through that discomfort. While externally, all appears to be okay, the centrifugal force is draining blood from her head. She is likely feeling lightheaded or in the beginning stages of a blackout. This is referred to as G-LOC, or gravity-induced loss of consciousness. American pilots are put through this similar training. This centrifuge at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio allows students to experience 9 Gs, or 9 times the normal force of gravity.
Prep breath. Pull back on the stick.
It teaches pilots the effect of G-forces on human physiology.
Trigger squeeze, running.
All right, here we go. I want you to let go of the stick. Hold on to your strain on the way down, okay? All right, we are going to idle at this time.
Normal humans can withstand no more than 9 Gs, and even that for only a few seconds. When undergoing an acceleration of 9 Gs, the body feels 9 times heavier than usual, and blood rushes to the feet.
Breath. Pull back on the stick. Breathe. Knees in more.
The heart can't pump hard enough to bring this heavier blood to the brain.
Breathe. Hold it. See every angle and know what's going on.
However, military pilots trained in these gondolas can practice sustaining this crushing feeling without loss of consciousness. It's important for pilots to put their bodies through this rigorous trial. They must know what it feels like to cling to consciousness while in a simulator on the ground. In the air, there could be deadly consequences if they fail to maintain awareness while flying the aircraft. For an even more intense experience, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is also home to this engineering marvel. The Kraken Disorientation device. It is designed to mimic not only G-force felt during a fighter jet flight, but also the forces felt during a deep submarine dive or the motion of a land vehicle. the gondola on this $19 million piece of equipment is able to twist and turn and rotate 360 degrees. Just watching it spin can give the viewer a headache. Imagine being inside this thing. The hope is that research from the Kraken will equate to fewer motion-related mishaps out in the field. As a result, this incredibly complex simulator and lab will likely save lives, and some very expensive vehicles, too.
A couple times.
All the way forward.
In addition to wearing a flight suit and an oxygen mask, pilots also wear a G-suit to counteract the G-force. The G-suit's pants are fitted with inflatable bladders, which, when initiated by the system, fill with air and firmly press on the abdomen and legs, restricting the draining of blood away from the brain during the high G maneuvers. This will hopefully prevent the pilot from graying out or blacking out and losing consciousness. In this controlled test, the subject is not only wearing the G-suit, but he's also performing anti-G straining maneuvers. Those exercises include breath control and muscle control.
Sustained. Easy.
Some pilots recommend the best way to counteract the G-force is by flexing the abdomen muscles to push blood back up to the brain. Others describe this technique as similar to straining on the toilet while constipated. Another method used to counteract the G-force is called the hook method. Pilots breathe in slowly while saying 3/4 of the word hook, and then swiftly breathe out with the k sound.
G's for 5 seconds. Here we go.
This unclassified method also allows them to keep as much blood in their brain as possible until they return to a low G level. There are also ways pilots can better prepare for the effects of G-force before they step foot in the plane. Proper hydration and nutrition are essential for the pilot to withstand the increase in the amount of Gs in successive sessions. Studies have shown that with only 3% dehydration, G tolerance time can be reduced by up to 50%. A solid night's sleep can also increase G tolerance. Poor sleep decreases alertness and G awareness, which is what signals a pilot to start their G strain. Pilots work out regularly and undergo frequent medical exams and screenings to ensure they are physically fit to handle the demands of flight. They must stay in shape. Cardiovascular exercises help improve tolerance for G-forces. Pilots, like soldiers and other branches of the military, also compete in fitness competitions. In 2018, U.S. Army Reserve soldiers conducted the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge Fitness Test, followed by the Army Physical Fitness Test at Towle Stadium in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
5.
Go!
To receive the GAFPB badge, warriors participate in a shuttle run, flex arm hang,
Hey, keep your chin above that bar. Doing good, man. Doing real good.
1,000-meter run, as well as a 100-meter swim. All in their uniforms. The U.S. military is obsessed with optimizing human performance. It wants its soldiers, pilots, sailors, and more to be in their very best shape to protect the country to the utmost of its ability. That's why the military has built human performance labs. These labs are specialized facilities with the sole focus of conducting research on the physiological and psychological factors that affect the performance of military personnel. At the Air Force Research Laboratory's 711th Human Performance Wing at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, pilots are suited up and placed under observation so that researchers can better understand what happens to their bodies in the most extreme conditions.
Stick, hold your strain, hold your strain, keep strain, hold your strain. All right, we're ready to go, sir. On your mark, whenever you're ready.
One of the questions the Air Force aims to answer is about unexplained physiological events, or UPE. Those events include hypoxia, or oxygen deprivation, as well as hypocapnia, low carbon dioxide levels in the blood, and hypercapnia, elevated carbon dioxide levels in the blood. When experiencing these events, pilots lose the ability to fly safely and effectively. This is why the military wants to understand what brings these symptoms on and how to prevent them. Airmen sit in a hyperbaric chamber to observe how their bodies will respond at high altitudes. The chamber is a sealed environment where the air pressure is artificially reduced to simulate conditions a person could experience miles in the air or atop a mountain. Training in these chambers allows pilots to recognize the symptoms of oxygen deprivation and learn to use oxygen equipment in a state of distress. The hyperbaric chamber provides them with the practice that will enable these soldiers to stay alive in the event of an emergency at a high altitude.
So our altitude chamber, what it does is it allows us to take air crew members up to a simulated altitude unpressurized, and it allows us to basically put them in an environment that's kind of the worst case scenario. We have them take off their oxygen equipment so that they can feel physiologically how it feels differently to be off of oxygen and know their individualized symptoms. So then if they were ever in an aircraft and they lost cabin pressurization or were in a situation where they didn't have oxygen, they would know how to recognize that individually in themselves.
This extreme altitude chamber is specifically built to simulate altitudes above 40,000 feet, where the air is so thin that the human body cannot survive without supplementary oxygen. These pilots are trained with the guidance of an experienced instructor who ensures the procedure is done correctly. it's important to note that this type of training is not without risk. The instructor is there to minimize accidents or injuries. To perform at their best, U.S. soldiers must be in peak shape. That means preparing their bodies for the extremes of warfare. Whether that be high speed and high altitude in a jet plane or deep dives in a submarine. The U.S. military does everything it can to prepare its warriors for these circumstances, from high G-force centrifuge training to hyperbaric chambers and all-encompassing fitness tests. U.S. soldiers go through the ringer to ensure their mental and physical preparedness for whatever they encounter in battle. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.